Surviving Reality contains explicit content full of snark and sarcasm that may not be suitable for all audiences. Listener discretion is advised.
Hello and welcome to Surviving Reality.
I'm Corey.
And I'm Carly, and we are here with another recap of Gypsy Rose, Life After Lockup. This is Season 2, Episode 2, Your House or Mine?
Your place or mine, maybe? It's just a general question, I suppose.
Seems like it's mainly going to be Gypsy's place.
And Aurora's. Aurora. It's Aurora's place.
Real tongue twister, huh?
We're used to saying it.
I can't keep track of how pregnant she is throughout the episodes because, I don't know, maybe I'm imagining it, but it seems like sometimes she looks more pregnant than she is in other scenes. Is that the magic of editing? Or is this like a day-by-day thing?
Well, this is still like end of 2024.
Yeah, but she didn't have the baby till 2025, so we can assure that it is 2024.
Definitely.
Actually, didn't she have the baby in December? It was like a couple of days prior to the new year. That's if she told the truth about the baby's birth date, which people on the internet are questioning.
So she had that baby a year after being released on parole?
Yes, she had. I think the baby's
wow.
birthday is December 28th.
Wow. That's impressive.
To time it out like that?
Well, yeah, to just work at it to get... there's a lot of effort that goes into making that sort of timeline happen. Pretty impressive.
In this episode, with their... bleh.
I don't think that's part of it.
No, it's not. I'm questioning myself because I really fucked up the Sister Wives description this week.
You were so proud that you got it. Nailed it 100%. And it turns out, no, there was a factual error in there that I had to put sick in the episode description in parentheticals to show that, yes, this is a factual error.
All right, well, I'm dialed in on this one.
Okay, yes.
With her divorce from Ryan ongoing, prepping for the baby, and Ken's upcoming move to a bigger house, Gypsy tries to manage her stress and keep her relationship with Ken on an even keel.
Gypsy Rose Doomsday Preppers. I think that's an episode crossover that I would like to see personally.
It's just all baby stuff, though. Cribs, diapers, bottles. I'm like, what else do you need for a baby?
Maybe to an extent. There's some other stuff probably in there, too. Very important things that we're leaving out, I'm sure.
Before we get started, this is only our second recap of Gypsy. So I think right off the bat, we have to make it clear that this is not an anti-Gypsy podcast. We don't hate Gypsy Rose Blanchard Anderson.
Not blindly, but also we hold her accountable. So that's the thing. That's the difference here, is it's not just overall hatred for hatred's sake. There are instances where she's in the wrong, and we'll call her out on that and make that abundantly clear.
There's one particular instance where she was pretty in the wrong.
One? Just one? For this episode?
No,
oh,
I mean...
you mean with Ryan and... Well,
nope.
No,
Go
I
further
know.
back.
I know with Pixie. Abandoning Pixie, unforgivable.
Sure, that's it.
Oh, you mean the whole thing with her mom. Okay, I get what you're getting at. Yep. Yeah, I mean, that's generally frowned upon as well.
For those of you, though, who feel like Gypsy deserves to be back in prison right now, I want you to sleep well at night knowing that she is in prison.
Gypsy has fortified her own prison that she resides in full time.
Her own choices have brought her right back there. So karma is real. Ken is her karma. And that is where we start this episode. Should we talk about Ryan?
We have to talk about Ryan because you asked for more Ryan last episode.
And I regret it.
And well, so this is the thing. We need more Ryan content. We don't need the same stuff. I think there was at least 4 different scenes this episode where it's just Ryan moping around and then cuddling and snuggling with Pixie.
Like, I do not need to see any more pillows with Gypsy and Ryan written on them.
How many custom-made relationship items can you fit in a rental apartment?
I don't know. Does she have a Zazzle account?
She has to.
She must be ordering on a regular basis because now they have the Ken and Gypsy image above their bed.
Not above.
Not above Ryan's bed.
Not Ryan's. Yeah, that would be way too much for him to handle.
Haven't they only been back together for between 8 and 12 weeks? Is that not the shipping schedule of Zazzle?
The print to turnaround shipping schedule timeline that they pitch for that. I don't know. She must be a Zazzle ambassador at this point because she has reached an elevated tier that none of us can ever reach.
Just wait until we see the baby being born.
Oh, there's going to be a ton of pillows with this kid's face all over them.
That's one of my mom's favorite things to print.
But they got to be a real small pillow, very tiny.
A very tiny pillow just with faces of babies on them.
The smallest pillow you can imagine.
Everyone in our family has gotten one, including us, and we don't even have a baby.
No, you just have a Maisie.
We have a Maisie. We have one with our dog.
Yeah.
We have two, actually, because the one wasn't printed to her standards, so she got a second.
A replacement one. And so that's the one that's over in the recording studio.
Forgot it was down here.
Yeah, that's the other one where it ended up.
That and the dog. I don't want to be reminded of the fact that she abandoned Pixie with Ryan because it makes me feel very, very, very sad and angry.
That's the thing I'm never going to forgive Gypsy for. The whole mom thing, I can get past it.
But the dog did nothing to you.
The dog did nothing to you. The dog did not put you in that situation. The dog did not ask to be brought into this familial turmoil that you have created.
I just need Ryan to give us better stuff to watch. Like either you've got to be spilling the tea, so you got to show us the texts between you. You got to tell us some crazy shit that happened in your relationship that was never caught on camera. You need to start dating.
Or more things. Yeah, have dates. Or more things that could have burst into flames in your apartment that have just left permanent marks on the walls. Those sorts of things. Yes, maybe a few of those, but I don't need to see all your different custom-made pillows with your name embroidered on them. I don't care.
Maybe put them in a box and wait and see if Gypsy comes back.
Give it a couple of months.
Don't live in it. That's not helping.
Well, and that's the problem, too, is that Ryan is seeing this as, well, they're not divorced yet. So she is still my wife, but not really. I mean, she's living with another guy, or she's pregnant with another guy. Pregnant with an ex.
She would live with him if she could.
She would.
The parole prevents it.
It is the only thing that's keeping her out of prison at this point. So she's going to go ahead and stick with that. I think he just needs to come to that realization where he's banking on her treating this relationship with Ken as
like a rebound?
As willy-nilly. Yeah, like as willy-nilly as she went into the whole relationship status with Ryan, because that got escalated to marriage and very serious very quickly. She got a dog and then she left. So he's expecting, okay, she got pregnant with Ken. She's going to have this baby and then she's going to abandon it with Ken and she'll come back to me.
She's got to wait out the clock.
That's the process. That's the pattern that she's in right now.
Do you think that Gypsy was the one printing all that stuff, or is that all things that Ryan had in the apartment before she got there?
I think it's Gypsy that's printing the things.
Really?
Because
she said she doesn't like clutter.
There's
like certainly a lot of clutter with that.
But then why did that one, the one of her and Ken, how did that end up above her bed?
Good question. Maybe Ryan sent it as a parting gift.
I don't think that he did. That was how she redeemed all of her Zazzle points as she left Ryan. You can't split those points in a divorce, so she had to use them all before she filed for divorce.
Did you notice it said like established in 2017 or something?
I think they're squeezing in a couple years on us there.
Yeah, she went back to the very beginning of the prison relationship.
The beginning of the prison relationship, meaning the time span of when they started corresponding via letter.
I think that that's probably like not what I would put on an image like that, because one day maybe the baby asks you about it.
Yeah, what was that like?
And tell me about the early years of your relationship.
Well, also, it's hard to tell who are these people. It's very zoomed in. We are very close up.
Wasn't it like a sketch?
It's a pencil sketch adaptation. A photo,
very Robin Brown.
A photo turned into pencil sketch.
Created a memory.
That's what's happening. Yeah, we've established a 2017 relationship that we never departed from here, and we've stayed the course, and we've stayed together this long.
I was relieved to find out that Gypsy was upset about the things that Ken said at dinner.
And then she was saying that she needed to address these things with him. Then we did not see them address anything. So did we address that?
I think they talked about it off camera.
I hope they did, but talking about needing to talk about it on camera and then not talking about it on camera makes me feel like it didn't happen. So then that's what I'm worried about.
And again, where are our producers? That is something that we want to film. We don't want Ken to even know that she's about to approach him about that. And then you film the entire thing.
They did a good job with a couple of ambush things in this episode because they did work Gypsy into a frenzy on a few different things and then just kind of threw her into the mix and left Ken to fend for himself, which I'm okay with.
Did you feel like he was on better behavior for the first half of the episode? Because I thought that it seemed like he had a talking to. Like post-restaurant, there was a big discussion about how he's acting on camera.
Is it on camera? Yeah, because then he was saying, too, how he thought it was lighthearted sarcasm.
No.
That was his intention, and that's what he thought he was delivering on. Incorrect.
I don't want to throw this term around lightly, but that is gaslighting. That you're going to take something that was not said in jest, and now she's upset about it, and you're going to try to claim that you were just being humorous.
It's not funny. Can you explain to me how that's a joke of the shaming?
No one in the room thought it was funny because the waiter also was appalled by your behavior, sir.
So maybe this is an analysis point for Ken, where he needs to kind of take a look at this relationship dynamic and how he's responding to it, because then he is pointing out some of these important things of how Gypsy pushes back in relationships when there's tension and he internalizes things. But I think when he's internalizing, then he lashes out. So if he's saying that he's only doing the one part of it, I think we need to look at the whole picture here and see what that first step leads to down the road.
It's so clear to me already that he resents her. He resents her for whatever happened with Ryan, that she talks about Ryan at any opportunity that she has to bring him up, and that she got pregnant so quickly, even though that is also his fault.
Well, it seemed like, the issue that they had at the dinner was that she wasn't trying new things, but he was trying to force her to try things that she wasn't interested in trying. So if you're not interested in that, then you're just kind of forcing someone to do something against their will. So that's not usually very effective. Then we had kind of a different angle of that, or like a different version of that in this episode when Gypsy was trying to make herself an egg in his kitchen, and then she ends up burning it, which we've experienced egg drama in the kitchen once or twice ourselves, switching over to stainless steel pans. This is something we can relate to.
I still have not cooked an egg in a stainless steel pan.
I know.
Until this day.
Yes. I cook all the eggs for us now.
Although that's not what they were using.
No, it was nonstick. So when he's asking if she put oil in it or sprayed any Pam down or anything.
Isn't that supposed to be unnecessary?
Technically, if it's a nonstick pan, it's probably old. That nonstick coating is long gone, and you're just getting all the
Teflon bits cooking out of it.
the Teflon carbons and stuff like that that's just soaking up into that egg.
She massacred that egg.
She did. There were crimes against eggs that were taking place here. The heat was too high, so that is a big problem. You're not trying to boil water. It doesn't need to be on high.
She claims to have mastered the cooking of eggs over at Rod and Christy's house, though.
Yeah, she can only make eggs if she's in cutoff. I think that's the unwritten rule that we've discovered.
She needs a thick Cajun accent, and then she can cook an egg.
She's used to frying up gator eggs, just reaching up right out the porch off the back.
They cook differently.
Yeah, it's a different temperature that they need, that they require.
There was no Rod again. He's MIA.
They must know that Amy is thirsty from Little Miss Recap, that she is just raring to go on some new Rod footage, and they are just tantalizing her at this point.
They're withholding it.
Criminal.
So we had the eggs. There's a lot of food drama that goes on in this show. They also did go out to eat at that weird restaurant where they were sitting next to a piece of glass, just a very a very thin sheet of glass is what I was trying to say.
Well, no, and to call it they're sitting next to a piece of glass. It's a window. It's a window, Carly.
It wasn't thick enough. Put a fucking curtain in it. Why am I staring at the person who's sitting at the table next to me? They're not even technically next to me. They're inside a building. I am outside.
Yeah, so this is a very fishbowl experience that they get because you are right up on the glass and somebody else is right over there. I don't like restaurants where the tables are way too close together.
You know, the people who were sitting inside had to be holding their phones in a very unnatural state, trying to take pictures and videos of them.
Well, after you gasp and point at someone who's 2 feet away from you in the way that these people freaked out and reacted, it's hard to then go subtle and try to sneak a photo of these people, these celebrities who are out.
You got to play it cool.
Call them celebrities. It's kind of...
I don't think she's really earned the title of celebrity.
Not really.
Infamous. Isn't that what it is?
The infamous Gypsy Rose.
I don't know. Maybe if you see her at a restaurant, send some octopus over to the table.
And 8 pounds of sushi. if you care.
That's Joey from Love is Blind.
That's Joey from Love is Blind.
There are many characters who will make appearances. The cauliflower, that's what they had there. And it kind of made me want to go out to eat.
Buffalo cauliflower, yeah. Cauliflower or cauliflower?
I don't know. This is going to be a debate I don't want to get into.
But it was buffalo cauliflower. And so this was something that she was excited to try because it wasn't alive at any point because Gypsy has a real thing about killing. So
that's where she draws the line.
Yeah, it's just there's a line.
Things and that were previously alive, I don't want to consume them.
Yeah. Which, okay, good. That's good. She's made that abundantly clear.
At least we know where the boundaries are for if there is a future crime committed. We're not going to go the way of cannibalism.
Don't go full Dahmer. You can't. You shouldn't.
She doesn't have the teeth for that anyway.
No, but she's trying to get some new chompers installed here. But she has to go all the way out to basically where she lived with Ryan to their old apartment because that was where the dentist was, right down the street. Very convenient. Now, not so convenient, but you still got to go.
You got to find a whole new set of doctors. That's what happens when you move.
Because she keeps moving an hour away from everything. That's just wherever she lives. It's always an hour away.
This was uncomfortable. They had to be worried that maybe Ryan would be out taking Pixie for a walk or just circling the block, looking for a new victim to take back to his apartment.
He's not looking for victims.
I don't know.
No, that's not
I'm not sure.
That's not his type. That's not his MO. He would be writing letters to women in prison. That's his MO.
Okay, so who is currently in prison that Ryan may write a letter to?
Not Casey Anthony.
No, not Casey Anthony.
She's out.
She's out and she's on the TikTok trying to give out legal advice despite not being a lawyer.
Definitely not a lawyer.
She thinks that it's gone so well for Gypsy since she's gotten out of prison that she's going to be able to do something similar.
She's ready to do her tour, and she's ready for her show. I don't think people are so quick to forget what was going on with the Casey Anthony stuff.
No, the other problem is at least Gypsy did go to prison. I know it wasn't as long as many people would have liked to have seen, but Casey Anthony did not.
Very different set of circumstances here.
I'm not sure she understands that.
Yeah, there's... Well, just a general lack of understanding, I think, of the principles related to time served and things like that of just, I would believe that Casey Anthony still thinks in her mind that she is innocent. Several people would disagree.
She was a compulsive liar. So.
Yeah, several people would disagree.
Including Nancy Grace.
And Nancy Grace
Especially
is just
Nancy Grace.
Hating. And I love it. I'm here for it. I don't like Nancy Grace in particular, but I love how much she hates Casey Anthony.
You can agree with her on one topic.
That I can get on board with, sure.
Okay, so Ryan was doing really well not reaching out to Gypsy. He went an entire month without texting her.
Cold turkey.
And then he popped right back up, so she had to block him.
Well, yeah, because this was where Gypsy thought, oh, okay, he did text me. It's been a while, so maybe he's moved on at Gypsy speed, where he has a new girlfriend. She's moved in. His life is fine.
She's probably pregnant.
Yeah, everything's good and perfect because you just bulldoze over all that stuff and you move on. into the next thing, always chasing the next thing. So she was assuming that that was going to be the update, the life update from Ryan. Not really what she was getting. He's still kind of moping around and not washing the mirrors, and it's
that mirror was dirty.
Mirror was in trouble, guys. It's been struggling. It's been a rough month.
You're right, though. I don't think that Gypsy can comprehend that someone would need a period of time to move past something.
Yeah, you got the dog, you got the apartment. What else do you need? Yeah, go find another girl and move on with your life. It's that simple, really.
Maybe he's lucky that she left the dog, because that's at least a conversation starter. He's got to go to a dog park or something. Got to get out of the house, Ryan. Maybe paint the wall before you bring someone over.
Maybe, yeah. And pack up all the stuff that has Gypsy's name on it. As we learn, that becomes a big issue. If there's stuff that your ex leaves at your apartment, it's going to be a big problem.
That's going to be hard to explain away that you were previously married to Gypsy Rose.
Yeah, we kind of did a whole show about it. We did a media press tour. I cannot tell you how horrified, mortified I would be if that was where the relationship starts and then you are now getting divorced as a result of that.
It's not even just divorced. She's pregnant. She got pregnant the day she reunited with Ken.
With another guy. Yeah, it's a problem.
It's pretty rough.
Yeah. I'm not saying Ryan handled everything perfectly, because he sure as shit did not handle most of the stuff in this relationship well at all.
Do you think that Gypsy acts weird every time she brings Ryan up? Because even when they're driving to the dentist and Christy's in the car with her, she's like, we're like a block away from Ryan's apartment. Like, it's that way and the dentist is that way.
It's, yeah. Or like when she was talking about how he texted her and then Ken was asking, oh, did that make you feel anything? And she goes, no, I just blocked him.
I don't believe her.
I don't think that's true. I think that there were feelings there. And she does go on to talk about some of those feelings too. So to say, no, I didn't feel anything, I just blocked him.
I'm wondering if she's kind of relieved to find out that he hasn't moved on yet, because she wants him to not be over her in a way.
It's endearing in that way of the commitment that's there.
But she's also not attracted to him or interested in getting back with him. But it's just nice to know that there's someone out there who's heartbroken over her.
That is an element of it, perhaps. But I still think that there is just the general sense of pity for him then, too, of why don't you just move on and get over it?
I don't think that's going so well for her.
I don't think so either.
Kind of seems like she's coming to the realization that maybe she idealized what life with Ken would be like.
And I think she's doing it with this relationship now, too. She's always seeking a grass is always greener, but it's because she keeps forcing herself into these relationships that aren't great for her. And then she's convincing herself that it's the best thing ever. Is it, though? Is it really? Because with her conversation with Mia, who is still the only sane person on this show, and I will attest to that, double down on that, triple down on that.
The only adult in the room. That's for sure.
The wisest member of the family who nobody listens to. Nobody takes her advice seriously. She's given great advice, top-notch advice. Since the show started, nobody's listening to it. Nobody's taking it to heart. There was a lot of misreads on this whole conversation, though, because people are seeing it when Gypsy's talking with Mia about how she's kind of worried that Ken might be proposing to her when the divorce is finalized.
That's how we interpret it.
That's how I'm reading it.
Yeah.
And that was our takeaway, was it sounded like Gypsy was confiding in her saying, I'm worried that Ken is going to try to jump into marriage with me as soon as I am legally divorced. The marriage with Ryan is the only thing that's keeping Ken at bay, because we're already basically moving in together. We're having a baby together. And so marriage is on the list now of the next thing to jump into.
Okay, I have to say, I don't think that that's true.
Okay.
I'm not sure why she's convinced that Ken is ready to get married. I know he said a few things to her about eventually she'll be his wife, but the way her brain works is whatever the next step is, she's always thinking like, okay, this is the next thing that's got to happen. And it's got to happen now because I thought about it. So she's thinking that because he's saying that at some point she's going to be his wife, that means it's going to happen imminently. He's about to go get out a ring and propose to her. I don't think that's true, but I am happy to know that she's thinking that if the proposal comes anytime in the near future, that doesn't seem like she's ready.
That was our assessment. We went online and then people are talking about how Gypsy Rose is already
like trying to push him to marry her.
Yeah, like going after Ken about getting married. And I don't think that was the read. I think it was the opposite, was my takeaway of that conversation, was that she is concerned that Ken is even considering marriage anytime soon in the near future.
That would put her in an awkward position if he was to propose and she's pregnant with his baby and she seems to want to have a future with him, but she's just not ready to skip right ahead to that step yet. So what does she say?
Not right now, probably.
Well, that's what she had to hear from Mia.
Yes. Yeah. Mia is giving good advice. Don't force it, because then if you are having a baby, so if you're pregnant or if you have a newborn infant and you're getting engaged, you're going to kind of miss out on that whole experience because you're not going to be really focused on that or concentrating on that because there's all these other big changes that are happening in your life with a newborn or a baby on the way.
Maybe wait till you're off parole and you can live together.
Give it some time. Yeah, don't jump into anything and stop marrying people before you live with them, because
stop marrying people like the minute that you get into a relationship.
Yeah, that's not the basis of it. That's not the measure of success. You don't need to do that.
We're kind of leaving out the public element of it, though. It has to be embarrassing to Gypsy that she made this big public show of how great it was to be out of prison, to be married to Ryan, how great their sex life was.
The D was fire.
How happy that she is. And months later, it just fell all apart. And by months later, I mean like 2 months later. And now she's pregnant and everybody knows. And she's back with Ken and people are judging her for it. So to you put a Band-Aid on it publicly by getting married. So it looks like, well, this was the right decision I was supposed to make from the beginning.
But doesn't that look worse then?
I think so. I'm just saying I could see that being someone's thought process, that if I was just married to him and we had the baby, that it would legitimize the whole thing versus it looking like I'm continually making stupid mistakes.
Great. Let's take that thought experiment and run it out a couple extra months. You get married and then you realize moving in with Ken and living together with a newborn baby and all under one roof, you are absolutely miserable and you can't stand it. And now you have to get divorced again.
Okay, that's what I'm saying. I think that's where Gypsy's head is at having this conversation with Mia.
Yeah, I think you need to keep thinking through that scenario and take it out a couple more steps to see how that might play out. Yes, it's good to think of it as it'll be happily ever after, because we know that's a big mindset thing for her.
Everything's a fairy tale.
That was instilled from a young age that we have to kind of break and deprogram out. So maybe, what if things don't get better? What if it gets worse? And then we have to address that at that time. It's going to be tough.
I need her to keep talking to Mia and talk less to Christy, because the scene with Christy and her mother, where they are talking about how great it is to see Gypsy and Ken together because they just have this chemistry that people wait a lifetime for.
She can't stop smiling around him. This is a bad read.
Very bad read.
This is generations of bad reads that are just talking to each other now.
It ends with Mia. Thank goodness.
I'm so glad Mia is here to break the cycle, and that Gypsy and Mia are both breaking cycles in their family trauma history here that we're experiencing.
Yeah, it does not seem like things have been going well between Gypsy and Ken from what we've had on TV.
It doesn't get much better this episode either.
No, it does not.
Ken is stressing out. He is working on moving out of his shitty little apartment.
Excuse me. Gypsy is working on moving him out of his little apartment.
Well, I said he's stressing about moving out. I didn't say he was really doing anything.
Watching this pregnant woman sit on the bathroom floor and clean out all his cabinets while he was, I don't know, where was he? came home to eat his salad.
Oh, yeah. He loves a good salad.
And then tells her to put a box together and just put all of his clothes in the closet in it.
Take them off the hangers and just shove them in the box.
How about you put your salad down and you go do it?
This is the only day we have to pack stuff up.
I haven't seen him pack one box.
No, I didn't. Didn't see it. Wasn't happening.
I'm telling you, man, I'm already on the Ken hate train. It's only going to get worse from you here on out.
It didn't take much, yeah, because we had these are little things, though, of the way that they argue shows a lot for me, where it's when she's voicing something and then he combats it and then he's asking for evidence or proof of this claim that she's making, and she goes and she provides that. And then it's met with only more resistance because we have to double down and explain that away. They're not communicating effectively.
That's not even where I thought you were going to go with that. What I saw and did not like was the dishonesty in what we're actually arguing about, where she brings up the empty bottles, but what she's really upset about is the hairbrush she found.
Well, I mean, that doesn't help either. Yeah, because then she just has to build to that, because that's what she would have been generally annoyed, just emptying out bottles that were empty that she needed to just throw out, that he could have thrown out months ago when they ran out of whatever they're supposed to be holding. But that didn't happen, so now she has to throw it out now. So that would be mildly frustrating, irritating, maybe worth mentioning, but it's something you can move past. The hairbrush, though, finding an ex-girlfriend's hairbrush, because, come on, he's trying to say that this is his hairbrush?
Yeah, he's brushing his nearly bald head with a round brush.
He has a skin fade on the sides and the back of his head. This man does not need this brush.
No, and it's definitely not his hair wrapped around it. That's for sure. We know that.
It's been many moons since Ken had a blowout. Okay. Well, actually, it's probably been pretty recent. Evidence.
Was it 12 weeks ago?
Yeah, a couple weeks.
That's not all she found. She said she found pictures of him with his ex. She found greeting cards, all kinds of memorabilia about his past relationship. And she took nothing from Ryan's house, which we know.
She printed a lot of stuff, but she didn't bring any of it with her. She left it all there.
That's kind of an unfair standard, don't you think?
To say, I don't have anything, so you shouldn't have anything, is probably an unfair standard.
If he doesn't want to part with the stuff, now that's getting a little weird, especially the hairbrush. I think this man just doesn't want to spend money, and he was like, someone left a brush here, I'm going to use it.
We've had arguments about when is a tube of toothpaste at the end of a tube of toothpaste. I definitely cling to them far longer than you ever would.
It's true.
And most of the time what happens is I could still be working with that tube of toothpaste for another month, several weeks, 3 to 4 weeks, that I could probably keep squeezing the life out of this tube of toothpaste.
I don't have the dexterity to push any more of the toothpaste up through the tube once it gets to the end.
But then the compromise is, if I don't throw it out, you throw out the last one, and then there's just a new tube of toothpaste, I can deal with that, because then I'm not actively thinking about how much toothpaste is still left in this while I'm throwing it out.
Just has to disappear. Someone else has to do it for you.
It just appears overnight, sure. And now there's a new tube and I can work with that. That's okay.
That's our system.
That's the system, and it's working. So far, it's pretty good. But that's what I'm saying. So like the little quirk things like that of him, oh, you should have thrown this out a while ago. Okay, well, that's not really what you're upset about. So we should talk about what you're really upset about, which is the hairbrush. So she didn't bring that up directly, but I didn't like that everything that was brought up, it was met with rationale, reasoning, explaining away, but not to explain his positioning on it, but to diminish her concern on it.
Yeah, I think he's very condescending.
That's the issue, I think, that's at the base of this. We see it with the nursery prep, too, because when they're buying things and they have these sheets and bassinet sheets, they have singular things of...
One set of sheets.
One set of sheets, one bassinet, but they have 2 houses that this baby is going to be occupying. So Gypsy is saying, we don't have anything for the new house. And Ken's just going, oh yeah, well, we'll just move it We'll bring it along with us when we're going from house to house.
You're going to pack a bassinet up in your Jeep and drive it over an hour away to where you live so that Gypsy can stay there for 2 days. I think I remember that was the limit for how many days she could stay away from her house. And then she'll have to go back to Cutoff.
There's no way. Make this man do that based on his idea of, oh, we'll just pack up the bassinet and move it anytime we need to move it. Okay, do that one time and see if you want to do that again next week.
Just let him learn the lesson the hard way.
He's going to go.
Be like, I've got the baby.
He will go buy one.
You are going to put the bassinet in the back of the car.
Yep. He'll go buy one the next time that he has to do it. He's not going to move it again after that. It'll take one time of trying to break that down, put it back into a box, throw it in the back of the Jeep.
Oh,
and
they're
then
not
move
putting it in a box. He thinks he's going to put it fully assembled in the back of his Jeep.
In the front seat.
In the front seat.
Where the doors blow off.
See, can we get a safer vehicle?
Yeah, the safety rating on the Rubicon, not ideal for newborn infants.
He's going to keep the doors off.
Just saying.
Top down, doors off.
Not recommended.
The baby and the bassinet are going to fly out of the top of that thing.
Blowing out of the top there. Another blowout.
Ryan's going to be up behind them, catching things as they make their way down the highway.
Gypsy, it's me and Pixie. Hey, Gypsy. We just want to see how you're doing.
I'm not sure that he is nuts thinking that she may come back.
No, this is the pattern.
She's going to need to escape Ken's.
He sees it, yeah, and he's seeing the breaking point is approaching. So once she has this baby and then she gets stressed out, Ken freaks out and they split up, then I didn't like that Ryan was offering up, oh, I know it's Ken's baby, but I'll raise him like my own if you come back to me, Gypsy. That was weird. That's a weird thing to say.
He's trying to leave the door open. I think she is too. Again, I don't think that she's into Ryan, but having a backup plan, a place to leave to when she ultimately has a big fallout with Ken is something that she's open to.
It's going to be cut off. Yeah, you got to go back and you got to live with your parents. Just stay with your parents full time. Meanwhile, back in Cutoff, like, you have to do that.
Not wanting to have any baby stuff in the house, the apartment, what is it? It's a rental. It's a house.
I think it's a rental house.
It was a big house.
It's nice.
Yeah. Yeah.
The chandeliers are a little much.
Look, I mean, is it the type of decor that I would be interested in? Not really, but it's a big, nice house.
But there's nothing in it. There's not much in the house. It's
no, he's got to furnish that thing. That's why he's not buying the bassinet.
That's why, yeah.
It's going to put him above his budget.
When we saw the preview, though, and he's telling her they don't need a changing table, they don't need a chair for her to sit in to breastfeed the child. You can sit on the floor and do that.
That was
okay.
You went too far.
Well, one thing was they took that out of context. That was the only solution that was presented in the previews. And we were like ready to come in hot on Ken. Then when they were talking about it in the conversation, he's saying, we have a couch. We have this chair. Do we need a specific chair for the breastfeeding that's taking place? Don't you just need to hold the baby and that's it? So you just need a place to sit? We have pieces of furniture that you can sit on, was his argument. Then he went a step too far and said, you can sit on the floor and do it, which is definitely not the recommendation to be going with here.
No, I'm still upset it even came out of his mouth. There are going to be people who have strong opinions about what items you do or don't need when you have a baby. My thought is, why is he acting like everything has to be brand new? Is there no one you know who has had a baby who has items that they don't need anymore, or there's nothing you can buy secondhand?
Well, and that's my problem too, is when Gypsy is saying, I would like to have these things for when I need to take care of the baby. This is what will make me comfortable in doing that. Are there things that some people, new parents, go through that they look at and then do you actually need that thing? Well, they're going to go with it because they think that they do. And then they ultimately find out, oh, it's not really that necessary. Yeah, that happens. But like a chair to sit down in, if that's going to make Gypsy feel better about what she has to do as a parent, shouldn't that become a concern for you then as her partner to say, okay, I'll support you in that. If you want to have a chair that's in the nursery there because it's right there, great. Let's go ahead and find a solution for that. Like we said, it doesn't need to be a brand new gliding chair that's specifically ergonomically designed for breastfeeding. That's $15,000. It doesn't need to be that.
I hope there's not one that costs that much.
I'm sure there are, but like that's the part for me that was so irritating, was to see it was a concern for Gypsy. That's your partner. Why aren't you helping your partner?
Because he doesn't like her. That's my answer. Is he short on cash? Is that part of it?
I mean, I'm sure that cost is a big thing for him. There's another part to this, though. I feel like there's another piece in there. Oh, because he was saying, oh, why does it always have to be your way? I don't think it's a determination thing on Gypsy's part. I think she's asking for pretty basic things. She wants a chair to sit in to breastfeed her baby.
Well, she wants a crib that the baby will sleep in.
Well, yeah, and he agrees a crib, yes, maybe not immediately, but eventually... yes, that is on the list of things, but it's not an urgent thing. Well, that's cool because look at that. We just came to a consensus because Gypsy says, hey, we need a crib. And he says, well, we don't need one right now because they're not going to sleep in it for a couple of months anyway. So later on down the road, we'll address the crib thing. Okay, great. They got to the same page on that. Why can't they make a conjoined decision as a couple and say it's not, oh, everything the way that you want to do it, Gypsy, or everything the way that Ken wants to do it? Why can't it be our way of how we are going to do this? Where can we find the compromise in that?
Because they're not a functioning couple.
They're not doing that. So it's very, very frustrating to have those accusations flying around too of, oh, everything's got to be your way. There's not absurd things that are being requested here.
It would be going through my head, does he think that I might never move in here? And so he doesn't want to furnish an entire nursery.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that's a good anxiety thought to have.
Like, will this relationship last long enough until the baby is ready to sleep in a crib?
Yeah, he's gonna fill up the nursery with arcade cabs and a pool table. He's just setting up a bachelor pad for entertaining purposes, of course.
She doesn't have a great track record. So can you really blame him? We can. We don't like him.
I will. I probably still will.
The baby will be on parole until she needs a crib. That was probably the best quote from the episode.
It's true, though.
He is thankful for that parole, man.
Technically.
Keeping her in cutoff.
I mean, technically, the baby is on parole, too. Pretty much.
I need them to drop these episodes faster because I want to fast forward to the part where the baby's born. Just my gut tells me that he's not going to be doing a lot the first few months that the baby is out in this world. Still to this day, because she's not off of parole yet until the summertime.
It's going to be a very 16 and pregnant sort of relationship dynamic. Tale as old as time. We've seen it time and time again. It's just bound to happen. This is just the script, and nature is running its course.
Couple quick announcements before we go. We've got an entire Patreon with hundreds of episodes of bonus content.
Hundreds of episodes.
We just recapped Big Family, Big City.
Which was big problems for me.
Very problematic. Did you have a busking joke that you didn't get to say in that you thought of afterwards?
Oh, it was the trumpet guy meme from 11 years ago that was circulating the internet. It was just yelling at people. It was somebody who was playing the trumpet on the sidewalk in New York City, and he was just berating them, telling them to stop doing that because they're not an artist. They're a hack. Who are you? Who are you?
That was pretty much the video.
Yeah.
You showed me the other day. That was very good impersonation of him.
If you're looking for that, it's Trumpet Guy. It's like a minute and a half into it because it's a very long. He is yelling at this person for an extended period of time. But the reason why it went viral, I think partially too, was just the physical stature of the man is very interesting as well. It's visually compelling. But he walked Bob Dylan on stage in 1975. He earned his right to verbally abuse people who are busking on the side of the street.
So there's that. And we have another podcast called Surviving Sister Wives, where we recap the TLC show featuring the Cody Brown family, Sister Wives.
Season 19, it's still on the mid-season break, but episodes are going to be coming back at the end of April. We've been occupying our time in the meantime here with the rehash, though. So we've already recapped every single episode of Sister Wives in existence, which is all on the Patreon. But now we're going through with a different lens, another filter, another layer of perception that's being added. There's some gardening that's taking place, and then we're watching the episodes and talking through them. So they're a little more unhinged, but you can check those out.
They're pretty unhinged.
Yeah, pretty unhinged.
We will be back next week to see what thing Ken says that pisses me off then. Will Ryan be over Gypsy by then?
Absolutely not. Yeah. And Ken's probably going to get upset with Gypsy, blame it on her for the fact that people are recognizing her out in public, and that's going to be the cause of main issues in their relationship that he can't deal with. It's going to be her fault, even though that's something that he would need to deal with because it's something that bothers him.
I think that's a safe prediction, but we will find out. Thanks for listening. See you next time.